Welcome to the Moon Vizier Moon Mansions read with all signs. So we have a full moon in Aries, a super full moon in Aries on the 28th and 29th of September. The full moon in Aries is stationing with Neptune pretty much in the house of Arexi, or Baton al-Hut, which is Lunar Mansion 28. It's also called the belly of the fish. And from Christopher Warnock, as I always start with the definitions from Christopher Warnock, I'm going to read off his explanation, as I find it's the most appropriate to understand this mansion. When this mansion appears, it indicates that we too are in a state of completion. We are ready to reap the harvest of our efforts, yet we must not be passive. Like the fishermen, we must cast our net into the waters. The fish will not simply jump into the boat. This is also a mansion of faith and guidance. Actually, I'm going to stop there because what's really, really weird is only about a couple of days ago, I had someone come to me and they had some problems with skin eczema. And they told me that they were using a Chinese herb cream that they got from a friend, someone who suggested it to them. And the name of the cream, which had a lot of different herbs in it, the name of the cream was the treasure of the fisherman. Now, when she told me that, I thought to myself, has that got any relevance with my life at the moment, with what I'm doing, and my interest in astrology and all this stuff? And I couldn't pick it out. But now, as I'm reading this, it is, I'm not going to call it a coincidence, it is a huge synchronicity. So let's see what it means. So this is a mansion of faith and guidance. Its appearance confirms that we are guided on our journey, that we will pass through the dangers and obstacles and achieve our goal. The great fish resembles the wishing fish of the 1001 Nights. We can attain our heart's desire if we accept the guidance that is ours for the asking, and ensure that we are active rather than passive participants in our journey. The message is confirming the position of Uranus, the card of the Seven of Coins. Having faith in our seeds, or having faith in the seeds which we had already planted, of fruit which is about to ripen. The astrology tells us this card will pop us in our minds again and again as the moon transitions and we deal with the past karmic waves incoming, with the new waves of abundance outgoing. The abundance coming from a family situation, as well as the mastering of our skill in a new project, which will become our main income generator in the future. At 24 degrees, the full moon is conjunct Markab, the saddle of the horse, freedom and liberation. You have outgrown your own skin, now it's time to utilize your wings. It gives honor, it's a deep fixed star high above, gives honor, riches, fortune, also danger from fevers, cuts, blows, stabs and fire. This is for the native born with this fixed star. So if someone was born with this fixed star, Markab, conjunct the moon, which is where it is now, we can get themes for the energy of this full moon where they continuously strive for acceptance. They strive against seemingly impossible hurdles and are subject to many problems, some of a serious nature, in overcoming the problems. The more advanced the person with this placement is, they can overcome their difficulties, but some are never given full and lasting recognition for their activities or achievements. They may experience legal, domestic and other problems of harassment. Some of these natives may be unjustly accused. So there is this type of energy where we're wanting to be free. We're going to be free. We're going to try and break chains all over the place, and we will be successful, but we might not get the recognition that we want or deserve. For Ibn Arabi, this mansion was renamed Al-Rafi al-Darajat, which means the one who raises the ranks. It's complete healing. The number 28. This mansion is number 28, so 2 plus 8 equals 10. Completion of the soul's journey. We need to read the surahs as I've given you here to get this star to be positive in our lives. Time for the horoscope, the Moon Mansions Horoscope. And so we start with Aries. At 0 degrees, the night before, it stations in Pisces, which is why it is the 12th house for Aries, the unconscious or past. Us Aries are going to be confronted with our fate, our karma. We meet up with the results of everything that we've done, basically. Karma with Saturn is focusing on how we dealt with our values and relationships and offers of marriage from the past, whether we learned from these experiences or not. The house is also of charity as an aid to positive growth, which confirms the 4 of coins. And since Pluto is at the 4 of coins, we can transform that link to Mars and Venus Juno on the 10th of October. So this act of charity can help with the energy of Markab. And so Markab will be challenges where we overcome huge obstacles in life, but never get the recognition we deserve. And this could be to do with the long-term burden that Uranus breaks us from, and a person from the past spontaneously appears. We might think that they will see what we've achieved in their absence, but they downplay our success, and that triggers the deep wounds that we already have. There probably is some form of manipulation coming, so heal these wounds by being charitable. For Taurus, this stations in your 11th house of friendships. And so it is important to connect with social groups and friends, or friendships. You could have started a venture on social media, or you're concerning with people over social media more than ever. And along comes Merkaba, trying to make you feel as though you are less popular than you really are, or that you or your group, maybe business, isn't so significant. There is on the full moon an expose of something connected to your public reputation amongst friends, amongst groups or organisations, and this could threaten to bring the disgrace to you despite you having done absolutely nothing wrong. Uranus and Jupiter were in Taurus, or are in Taurus. That's the 6 and 7 of coins, and so we have to have faith in a coming harvest. Remember, Aldebaran is conjunct Jupiter, just off by 1 degree. That's why I have Aldebaran here. Destruction and rejection, finding stillness, is like sailing up a river, chaotic at the beginning, peaceful towards the closure. So that's the winning of the war, the long-term war. So you'll win the social media war, however it plays out. For Gemini, it's the 10th house of career. This is your professional reputation lighting up, and you might be achieving success in a business or a job where things are working out. And Neptune is the energy of goals exposed by this full moon. Maybe it's your communication with a higher up for a better position or better pay, but with Merkaba, a prominent person related to your past could attempt to derail your efforts in some sort of office politics kind of way. Either this is what has been going on and comes to light, or it's a sudden attempt which could be a job offer from a past employer with whom you once had office politics. You could be having to make a choice between career and a marriage proposal too, where this proposal is also linked to your line of work, or asks you to be charitable with the time you spend at work. On the 30th of September, the moon meets the North Node, and we have the opposition to the 4 of Swords. The resting card, lying in bed. No rest for the wicked because it's a challenge. For Cancer, ruled by the moon and also my rising with moons, so this is the 9th house of philosophy. I don't really like that word. I like opinions because it encompasses a lot more. But it's not a bad house to have some exposure on because it's almost harmless. Unless we view it too seriously, and maybe that is what us Cancers are used to doing. Have we established too many strict rules for potential relationships, too many boundaries, which are good for keeping narcissistic people away, but detracting better people who might view us as being unfair? Merkaba can expose these viewpoints that might be too extreme, particularly about marriage, divorce, contractual relationships in business, work. People make mistakes. So do we relax and be more forgiving of others' misfortunes? Or are we so damn correct that we become inflexible and maybe forget the greater society's problems as being greater than our own? The ethics of what is morally correct versus what is legal or more factually correct. And an example of any discussion could be looking at statistics of divorced people and how men suffer. Children are more likely to be in prison from single mother families, cuckolding as a form of bringing up another man's child or children, and the impact it has on success or failure of the relationship as well as the child and the greater society as a whole. They're just some basic examples. But we could be bullish in our views to the extent that we put down an ex-partner or something like that, and whilst that might be completely unnecessary, it is part of the karmic story playing out with Saturn and Venus-Juno conjunct. Leo, it's your 8th house of transformation, the occult, SX, as you know what I'm saying there. This is a house of great power over people through the dark arts of manipulation. Great business successes and also healing powers simply because one has experienced deep problems at a young age. But this is also a house of secrets and the ability to forgive. But this is also a house of secrets and the ability to figure people's intentions out. If the house is exposed by the moon, then deep secrets, potential sex scandals, or other dark sides of a person could be revealed by Merkaba and bring some shame. Now, Leo is enhancing Venus's pride in relation to an offer, marital or work-related contract. So what could be happening is someone overly proud approaches you from the past, hiding their true intentions, but they can't get past your radar. That will be Scorpion-like, deep right to the bottom of the ocean of a person, almost like peering into their soul. Now that means you can transform the relationship before you get fooled again. Virgo, it's your 7th house of relationships. So for Virgos, this is a partnership and relationships with people. It doesn't have to be love, it could be business. The underlying energy is that Virgo will find themselves when they are around others. Heavily dependent on a relationship to feel happy is one sign. On the flip side, with Merkaba exposing such dependence, there could be codependency that is somehow a point of discussion. You might be wanting to join another in a new venture of theirs or ask them to join your venture and the other person doesn't want it, so be ready to face no for an answer. In turn, this should make you turn inward with Venus at midheaven on the 14th of October and facing karmic Saturn, which always indicates a delay in what you want. You could be offering someone to take a risk with you and it doesn't turn out as planned. The reason for this is for you to learn to be happy by yourself before starting any venture or relationship of any kind. Otherwise, loss will be too great to deal with. For Libra, we're in the 6th house of the health. Balance and daily routines or addictions and being out of balance. So Libras will be dealing with their current imbalances and finding themselves giving too much to a relationship as opposed to career, or career as opposed to relationship. There could be other things of out of our balance, health, muscle aches, fatigue, computer work, etc. Your personal power is from achieving a balance, finally, in so many responsibilities that you have, much like a late bloomer. So Merkaba exposes where this imbalance is, that then pushes you into perfectionism. But that won't come until someone triggers you or some legal transformation occurs to force you into a changed routine. A medical issue might be revealed, and then your routine is basically monitoring dosage for the time being. Or if you're not in service, Markab will expose that, and what does you good is staying busy in helping others. The 5th house for Scorpio is creativity and pleasure. Very important to have a creative outlet. Scorpions, like hobbies, music, singing, sports, writing, dancing, photography, drawing, anything. Scorpios are going to get deeply involved, so nothing disturbs them. Being competitive is good. It keeps the childlike fire going. You want to be enjoyable to other people. Full moon is going to put a focus on performances that others see. And if you have low self-esteem because of the challenges that the 10 of Cups is facing, the big happy family, as well as a secondary story with the Saturn, Venus, Juno, then you can be overly generous to someone from the past because it reignites your chance to be creative, maybe towards them and what you yearn for. That's your choice. You might, however, want to remain focused on your creative skills and master that 8 of Coins and downplay the karmic story that plays out with someone from the past. That would be a good idea. Sagittarius is the 4th house of family. So you have to deal with the Cancerian energies of family, home and motherland. The 10 of Cups is facing off with the 4 of Swords, which will mean that you will want to be staying at home during this time to find peace from the heavy karma that is playing out amongst the stars and other people's lives. Now, whilst you're at home, you might be working from home and getting a lot done, even finding time to rest, which is what the alignments are forcing you to think about. You could be dealing with property, estate, Airbnb, rental income. Staying close to parents is vital. So Merkaba can bring about some personal pride and power of owning your own home and looking after parents, property management, etc. And it can be linked to your mum, taking care of your mum, being raised for the work that you do. The karmic story of the past might put you into a protective crab-like Cancerian mode of protecting your mother, of finances around your parents, all because of a past energy that wants some of your time and draw you away from your current responsibilities. Capricorn, the 3rd house, communication. Chatting, speaking, texting, social media posts, Zoom calls, team calls, whatever. This is the energy for you at this full moon. You will be more emotional in your posts and in your teachings, as this house also relates strongly to those of us who are teachers. Gaining a lot of knowledge and passing it on. So remember that Mercury is challenging our 10 of Cups. That means that this energy is strongest for you, Capricorns. You have to focus on what you're communicating because there could be an exposure coming from Merkaba about what you have already communicated. There is a response to that in some way that you now have to deal with. We know that the message is not bad, it's overall good, but it comes about in a funny and strange way. The full moon will challenge you to react emotionally, and you might, but the trick is to understand why you respond as you do and to not let it be a destructive communication, no burning bridges sort of thing, okay? This could be manifesting around the 10th of October with the return of a karmic partner. Aquarius, the 2nd house, is of possessions, so you're taking care of financial and material circumstances in the Taurus or Taurian house. So there is nurturing of financial situations and care of the material world. You could be growing a project and you have the creativity, influence to bring about the 10 of Cups, the big happy family. You're gaining the abundance by making your own money and managing your own resources better, but the full moon is making you realize where you need to be much more responsible to nurture, care and grow to make a project run. The energies which are strongly connected to you are the 6 of Coins and 7 of Coins, all to do with the Jupiter and Uranus, as well as the earthly trine. So you're about to see the fruits ripen. The time now is to have faith in the seeds planted. Merkaba can give you high honour amongst those you look up to, or those that look up to you, but also bring you ultimate downfall, so now is the time to be humble. Don't let materialism trump your humility, especially when you're being put on a pedestal by some people from the past who regret their actions towards you. To the first house of self for Pisces. This is where Pisces are developing their appearance in public. The energy they emit, the respect they get from others, trying to be a bit royal, king or queen-like around others. This should be completely natural, but the full moon always makes a Piscean more emotional. This could be completely fake overcompensation coming through, and it might be silly obvious to others. Sometimes you might be a bit too much into yourselves, but you have to be for the situations that you are facing. It's like being on stage and a little bit of acting authoritative and confident. Over-authoritative, overconfident. Maybe you have committed yourself to a purpose that puts you in an energy of high self-esteem. Now, Merkaba can bring a fall from grace very quickly. That puts you back into the deeply sad energy because your facade may have failed. So the karmic story playing out with Saturn and Juno-Venus conjunct. Are you reaching to impress someone who is out of reach for you? Or are they reaching for you? And you behave in such a way that makes them feel out of league?